Daily Dose with the Doctor, our first episode. We're going to finish 2020 so we can plant those seeds, right? So that we can jump into 2021 and manifest all of the things that's going to happen. I'm your host, Dr. Changa Miller. Follow me on IG at Dr.Changa. Just want to let you know, while you're here in Doc's Man Cave, we were talking about a host of things. Everything from faith, finances, family, and just general life. Dropping gems, just being original, doing the things that we do and the things that we have to do as a community. How are we going to help the community moving forward? We can't do the same thing expecting different results, right? So let's get into it. The first thing I want to do is, I often tell my students, I'm an educator by trade, but I often tell my students, let me save you 20 years. And what that means is, as a product of the public school system, and then also coming into being a educator myself, I've been able to see the disparity between just general education and knowledge and wisdom from both sides of the coin. So when I say let me save you 20 years, I've been blessed that on paper that I got out of some tough situations growing up. But on paper, I have the model life, I guess you would say. I have a family, healthy family, a wife of 21 years, kids that are very successful in their own right. Been able to own some properties, own a beautiful home here in Atlanta, Georgia. So just as far as what we did right, but the difference was our generation, our educators, our mentors, our leaders weren't able to tell us what I'm about to tell you and what I'm going to share with you every week in the man cave, all right? So on a daily dose. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about three things today. I'm not going to hold you long, because most people, they say our attention span is really not that great, but it doesn't take long to get to the point. So the 3 points I'm going to talk about today, one is the distribution of wealth in Black America. Second is paradigm shift, thought of changing from consumers to investors. And then I'm going to tell you a brief way, and this is just one way because this is the first episode, but a brief way of how to get out of your everyday situation, how to change your financial situation. All right, so let's get into it. Distribution of wealth in America. Like I told you, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and I came from or was brought up in a family, a loving family, a doctor, respiratory therapist, and a registered nurse. So I understood early about going to school, education, the importance of learning. Now, a lot of people, especially with the students today, a lot of people are like, well, education is not for me. But we're not just talking about textbook education. We're talking about life principles, skills, trading principles, right? Learning a trade, learning how to code computers, things like that. So that's what I'm talking about. So the distribution of wealth in America really started back, post-slavery, once the sharecroppers and everyone got free. The difference is we as Black Americans, and whether you're Caribbean American or Native American or whatever culture you're in, you are in the dominating culture in America at the time. Either you were run over or, whatever the case might be, your culture may have not been the dominant financial culture in America. So if we fast forward to now, when we were growing up, back in the late 70s and in the 80s, we were always taught, work hard, go to school, in college, get a job, work 40 years, and then you might have enough to retire and save, have enough money to keep a roof over your head and feed your family. Let me tell you this now. That is surviving. That is not living. So once again, we have 95% of the wealth in America is occupied and owned about 5% of the population. So I'm going to say that again. The rich, 5% of the world, own 95% of the wealth. Distribution of wealth in Black America, right? We have to change our mindset. If we don't change our mindset, every December, it'll be the same thing. Oh, well, what I didn't do right, let me do better. And then by King's Holiday, we forgot about what we're going to do. It is a conscious effort every day, right? If we don't change something, nothing will change. And that's the truth. So we're moving to coming out of the consumer phase. Because if you have $1 million or $100, most people don't have $1 million, tangible cash, but we're working on that. But if you had $1,000 saved or in the bank, next 6 months, it's still going to be $1,000. Your money is not working for you. So once again, but when we get the new Jordans or the new TV or whatever car, we're quick to use that money that was saved that never grew and then go spend it on something that we want because we saw it. Opposed to making our money work for us, compounding it, and then now we're working off the interest and off the proceeds of that initial seed money. That's a difference. That's the difference from being a consumer to being an investor. So let me break it down. A consumer, obviously, we know what that is because that is us. Most general Americans, we find something, a new product comes out. Businesses are targeting us for our consumability, right? But an investor, by definition, is a person or organization that puts in money into a financial plan, a property, and expecting a financial return, right? Or achieve a profit on that initial investment. That is where we went wrong. Now, granted, once again, I'll say, I've been blessed to been able to navigate through some financial situations where I learned some investment. I learned property management. But it's not about me. It's about helping the generations that come after me. My culture. I know where I came from. Living in a 2-bedroom apartment at one time with 6 people. There's been, and people today are still living in that situation. So let me help you change that narrative. Let me help you change what your lineage will look like. Okay? I hope you had your notepads out. So the first thing I talked about was distribution of wealth in Black America. How we're always consumers, and how the wealth in America is broken down because we were never allowed access to the financial sectors in the capacity where we can benefit from it. Okay? And then changing the mind shift, changing how we think about money, how we plan for our future. I can be thankful that I've always innately had in myself to always think 5-10 years ahead. Why did I do that? Because I felt that if I stayed in one place, or if I didn't think far enough ahead, that when I got there, I wouldn't know what to do. Or I would be stuck, or 2 steps, 5 steps, 10 steps back once I reached that pinnacle, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So planning ahead, okay? So like the third point, a lot of people say, well, it's good. I've always heard that, but I don't know how to get started. Why? Because we never had those mentors or those educators to help us go through the process of how to get started. But I got something for you. Let me tell you a little story. I was really interested. I did a study. So as a doctor of education, you have to do a lot of tests. You have to do a theory, a thesis. You have to defend it. You have to do a bunch of references. So I did a little research study on social media. between both of my main social media platforms, I have about 5,000 followers. Not a great, but when you think about knowing 5,000 people, the reach of how many people they know, we're talking about probably 100,000 people, right? I did a post right before the holidays about the PS5. Once again, remember, this all works together. Paradigm, consumer, investor. So just follow me. So I put a post that said, well, how many people would like that PS5 for the holidays? Question. How many people think that is too expensive? Question. I can help you get it. DM me, I'm the plug. So, and it was a play on words. I knew the mindset of my people, and people that the majority of people, not necessarily that I associate, but people that I've known over time. So social media, a lot of times is people who want to follow you or are interested in what you're doing, and people that you've known in different parts of your life, right? So within probably 5 minutes, I had about 15 DMs in both social media platforms about this PS5. Remember, I asked 2 questions. They were rhetorical. How many people want the PS5 for the holidays, and how many people thought it was too expensive? Everybody in themselves already answered that question directly because they knew. They knew they wanted it. They knew it was too expensive. But when I went a step further to ask or let them know that I have a way for you to get it, and I'm the plug, what I was offering them was financial freedom, a financial planning, a way to invest in themselves, so that at the time when I did the post, it was about 10 days, 2 weeks before the holidays. If they would have plugged in with me at that time, I would have given them access to an educational platform that would cultivate a skill that would feed them for a lifetime, that they would have been able to buy a PS5 multiple times over, hopefully by the beginning of the year. So within a month, they would have been in a situation where that initial $500 that they would have spent on that PS5 could have turned to $5,000. Then they could have bought 10 of them, 5 of them, whatever they wanted to do with it. Still wouldn't suggest that, or, that wouldn't be my suggestion for them. But you get what I'm saying. So anyway, that was real interesting because we often inundate ourselves with things that doesn't matter in our lives, especially on social media. So when you put a post about a political thing, or something foolish, of something that made you laugh, or whatever the case might be, you'll get hundreds of likes and views on it. But as soon as you talk about investing in yourself, learning, anything like that, financial freedom, people shun away from it. And it's about knowing the unknown, or not knowing the unknown. A lot of people are scared or intimidated by what they don't know. But if you continue to plug in with me, Daily Dose with the Doctor, just look for it. Turn on your notifications on Facebook or Instagram. Be doing lives, because I have a plan for you. So as a financial planner, as a mentor, I've been blessed with an opportunity. I Am Mastery Academy, the Miller conglomerate branch of I Am Mastery Academy, will teach you financial planning that will give you a skill that would not only change your life, but change the life for generations to come. And we're talking about immediate. You could see immediate success within the first week or two. It just depends on your learning curve. If you've learned how you learn, then that dictates, and your coachability dictates how fast you maneuver or learn the skill and put it into practice. So you have a theory and in practice. Those are 2 different things. Learning through the academy, in which I will let you know. So just DM me for details. Cut. So just DM me for details, and we'll go a step further on how you can get a part of the academy that will teach you this skill. And the sweet thing about it is there's also a business side that will help you with residual income. We often say in our company, trading and learning the skill of trading and analyzing the markets will get you rich, hands down. But doing the business side will make you wealthy and make sure no one with your last name will ever have to worry about finances. Now, money is not the drive or the end-all be-all, but money will solve a lot of the issues that we have as a culture and allow us to do the main thing that I'm in this business for, to help others. We can't help others if we're working from a deficit. So if we're not real with ourselves about our finances and where we are, just as the pandemic, 10 months ago, we didn't expect to be able to not go outside and take a deep breath in a store or outside. We didn't think that 10 months later that we'd be in the same predicament. Life is too unpredictable. But what's not unpredictable is the power of finances and understanding how to move your family from point A to point Z. And it's with a skill. Okay? I'm not going to hold you long, man. That was an awesome episode. So continue to look out. Like I said, turn on those notifications. Facebook, Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Listen, I love you already. There's nothing you can do about it. I'll see you at the top because the bottom's way too crowded. Tune in next week.